Hello, good morning. Well, for us it's morning. So Mark and I are driving, and when we're driving we often have really great conversations because we actually have time together.
We love our road trips.
Yeah, we love our road trips. But we just had a conversation because, well, we had a conversation in a conversation. We were talking and Mark realized I had failed to validate something he said, and I kept trying to say my point, and he kept trying to say his point. And then he gently reminded me that, I didn't even validate what he was saying. So then we had this great conversation about validating.
Yes.
And what it does. So this is like Pledge Talk 201 instead of Pledge Talk 101.
Oh, but so I like that.
So do you want to...
Sure. The 201 idea is that when you don't validate me, what happens is I feel like you didn't even think about what I had to say. And then I realized that, whether it's me giving my point or you giving your point, either one of us, we both want the other person to think about what we had to say.
Yes.
And another word that I use is reflect about what the other person had to say. And that's the power, I think, of validation. It's not validating just because, that's the fourth step of pledge. You just have to validate. And I validate, so, good, now we're free. It's because part of the longings that we have, now we're thinking of the talk class, part of the longing that I have is for when I share, is for you to reflect upon what I have to say and to think about it. And when you validate me, that helps me know you're thinking about it. And on some level, that would be my key request, to validate what I have to say, because my longing is for you to know that you're at least thinking about it. I don't have to be right, but I want you to at least think about it.
So that was really cool for me to, I guess, see that in a new light, that as I validate Mark, I'm reflecting on what he said and considering it and really showing him that I heard him. I was just throwing my point out because I was disagreeing with him.
It just happens, and it was okay. And again, it's not that I didn't want to be right, but all I wanted just is you to think about about my thoughts.
Yeah, and that was helpful because I think a lot of times, at least for me in this situation, I was like, how am I going to validate him? I don't agree with this. But the whole idea of reflecting on what he said and saying that he has a point, he has a reason for what he's thinking, and being able to reflect on what he said and show him I'm reflecting on that was helpful.
Yeah. Can I add one thing?
Please.
I know it's getting a little bit too long already, but when you just said, how was I going to do this because I don't agree with him, that was like, I get that, because we talk often about that idea that we don't always have to agree with each other, but on some level, when you stop and think about what I had to say, I think on some level there can be at least some agreement in the sense that what I said also made sense. So you can say, I agree, it is that in part. So I can see it. So there's a little bit of an agreement kind of a thing there, even though you don't maybe have agree with my ultimate idea.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Can I echo back?
Yes.
I think what you're saying is if I take the time to reflect on what you're saying, I will find that there is some validity to it coming from your mindset, that there is some reason for you having that thought.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Which is really what validation is all about. But sometimes we don't feel like we can validate if we don't take the time to reflect first on what the other person's saying.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Cool.
We're going to keep working at this.
We're going to do it, girl. All right. Thanks for listening.